Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at something literally every modern organization wrestles with, and that is transforming raw, seemingly meaningless facts into really powerful, actionable business decisions. It's this fascinating journey from just digital noise to absolute clarity.
Okay, let's dive into this. The golden rule of modern business strategy is actually incredibly simple. Data only matters if it leads to decisions. Think about it for a second. Having a massive, endless spreadsheet of numbers, that does absolutely nothing for you unless it actually changes what you decide to do tomorrow. Information only has true value if it triggers action.
Now, you might be wondering, since we hear the word data thrown around in every single meeting, before we make any grand strategic moves, let's just strip it right back to first principles. What actually counts as data out there in the wild?
Well, take a super simple identifying profile, say a guy named Jahangir, based in Karachi, Pakistan. Now contrast that with a telecom SIM package, network frequencies, activation dates, and data caps. Data isn't just one type of thing, it's a recorded collection of details about absolutely any subject, whether we're talking about a human being or a technical telecom service.
So our baseline definition is basically this. Data is just the raw, unfiltered reality of your business environment. It's a collected set of information about people, products, packages, history, or literally any other business subject, just sitting there waiting to be used.
But here's the thing, raw information just isn't enough on its own. And this is exactly where data analytics steps in. It's like detective work. You're slicing things up into meaningful demographics like age groups, gender counts, or product performance metrics, just trying to find those hidden shapes and trends hiding in the noise.
And then, business intelligence takes the baton. Business intelligence, or BI as we usually call it, is the act of gathering, analyzing, and most importantly, presenting that data in a clearer form so that business decisions can be made more effectively. While analytics kind of finds the hidden patterns, BI is what organizes those patterns into clear, digestible presentations so leaders actually know what to do next. So the crucial point is, the real difference comes down to the core questions they ask. Data analytics looks inward, right? It asks what is inside this data, but business intelligence shifts the focus entirely outward, asking how can this help the business decide? It moves the spotlight directly towards strategy and real-world action.
Understanding that distinction really helps us see the bigger picture here. The entire BI process is a movement from raw collection to focused action. It operates as a strict chronological sequence. You really can't just skip to the end. Every single step prepares the foundation for the next one.
It's a 5-step sequence. Collect it, process it, organize it, explore it visually, and finally, discuss the insights. And honestly, here's the open secret. If you rush those early collection and processing steps, your final analysis is going to be completely useless.
Let's break down that foundation just a bit more. First up, you have to actually bring together the data needed for analysis. This could be vast amounts of historical data or super specific product-level details. But as you probably know, raw data never magically arrives in perfect shape. It's usually a chaotic mess of scattered spreadsheets. So processing means rigorously transforming, cleaning, and consolidating that mess into one unified, reliable source. Once your data is clean, that's when the true analysis begins. You organize it into a structured data set that can be used for deep exploration. Then, you visually explore it, putting those numbers into engaging graphics or reports to see what can be analyzed. Finally, that visual investigation leads directly to discussing insights, where teams actually sit down together and identify exactly what is happening and what specific business areas need immediate attention.
Now, let's pause here for a second, because there is a massive misconception in the corporate world. BI is absolutely not just about building beautiful, colorful dashboards to look smart in a meeting. We aren't here to make pretty pictures. We are here to solve problems. The end goal is action, seeing exactly what requires a decision.
So when you look at a final BI presentation, the very first thing you should ask yourself is, what is the data showing? Imagine you're looking at a dashboard right now. Instead of just staring helplessly at a wall of scattered, disconnected information, you should be able to instantly interpret the overall situation. The visuals are there specifically to help people quickly grasp reality.
And this brilliantly illustrates why visualization is just so powerful. If you're comparing 3 products, you shouldn't have to scroll through thousands of rows to spot the winner. A good visual instantly highlights the high performer and exposes the ones lagging behind in a fraction of a second.
Once you see that visual discrepancy, the next question becomes completely obvious. Where should attention go? The ultimate goal of reviewing any data visualization is to pinpoint exactly where the business needs to direct its focus, with absolute urgency. I mean, if product A is soaring and products B and C are tanking, your attention needs to shift immediately to figuring out why and how to address it.
Which brings us to the most critical question of all. What decision follows? We've got to always remind ourselves that the final purpose of all this analytical heavy lifting, the collecting, the cleaning, the organizing, the charting, is to support actual decision-making. You aren't doing all this work just to store information on an expensive server somewhere. You're doing it to decide what your company is going to do differently tomorrow morning.
Let's move to and see how this builds. When you step back and look at this entire workflow from start to finish, you realize how all these distinct pieces interlock into one seamless system. It proves that business intelligence really isn't just a software subscription you buy, it's a comprehensive methodology for driving business success. If you take away only one thing from this explainer today, let it be this: raw information becomes business value only after it is cleaned, explored, visualized, and interpreted. It's a simple, unyielding promise. Converting collected information through this rigorous process into true insights is the single most reliable way to guide better, far more profitable business choices.
So, I want to leave you with a provocative final thought to mull over. Ask yourself about your own organization's practices. Are you just storing information, or are you actually making decisions? Take a really hard look at your data habits. If your data isn't driving real action, it's time to rethink your entire process and start transforming those facts into decisions. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.